Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos sweeping this channel as of late. I've done a lot of videos on just, I did the video on Spider-Man most recently, did a lot of reviews. Trying to keep it, get some different content on here. We're not just doing just reviews, we're gonna do a lot of topic videos and we'll talk about some news there and there. We'll do some reactions to stuff. Um, so we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff. Um, And I also just want to do videos like this one, where it may not be a relevant video, which I'm not about being relevant. I'm just, this channel's always been about talking movies and talking about just certain things that I have thoughts on in regards to the film world. Um, so I wouldn't say this is a relevant topic. A part of the conversation, that we're going to have in this video does have some relevance in it. But in terms of the overall scope, it's not really a relevant topic because it's been an issue for a while, and it's going to continue still being an issue, and that is in regards to censorship, film censorship, um, and uh, you guys probably can guess the story that we're going to talk about, which I'm not really happy to talk about, and also just to clarify, if you hear people in the background, I just have cousins, family over, so just an FYI. So, um, but this is also just gonna be off the cuff. I'm not gonna be, giving a lot of constructive thoughts on this. I just want to just kind of let my thoughts fly, and I want to see what you guys think in regards to censorship. Um, so. We're going to start with talking about the elephant in the room, the one that the story that I said that was going to be the relevance to this whole thing, and that is in regards, of course, to Squid Game. Now, before we talk about the story, I want to address that yes, there have been people saying that this story is fake. I acknowledge that. I've heard people say that. But from reputable sources and a lot of other things, um, it's hard for me to say that the story is fake. I haven't found any proof of that. If you guys can show me that proof, that'd be great. But I'm going off the assumption that the story is real. Um, for those who don't know about Squid Game, I don't know how you wouldn't. It's one of the most popular shows that came out of 2021, and it's like Netflix's number one show right now. It's a really really popular show amongst the public. I have yet to see it, so I don't know. But I've been watching videos and stuff on it, so I have a good gist as to what happens in the show, um, and also the violence of it all and all that stuff. So, um, North Korea had put out a mandate or some kind of ban. Uh, they're not going to show Squid Game in North Korea for reasons that escape me. Maybe they find it offensive in some manner, or I don't know. I don't know, like some of the censorships like that. It's like I don't really understand. And we'll get into more of the censorship like with other projects in a second, but focusing on Squid Game for a second. One guy took it upon himself to smuggle in Squid Game through I don't know what type of means. I'm pretty sure through like a flash drive or something, and decided to watch Squid Game through his computer or something. However, he watched it. Somehow, the government in North Korea figured it out, and this sounds stupid and kind of astonishing, really, but it is, at least if it's real, it's what's happening. The guy's gonna be put on death row. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The guy's gonna be put on death row. So, um, yeah, it's a bit it's crazy, and it's a bit it's a bit shocking, really. I mean, for those who have been informed about North Korea and those who have been discussing North Korea for quite some time, this probably isn't anything new. I mean, I've been hearing stuff about North Korea for years. Um, Never really got into the whole political side of it and anything, but I've been hearing murmurs about how horrible the conditions are in North Korea and just how badly treated people are, um, and uh, and just how desperate some people are to just get out of that place. So um, and just the whole government system just being kind of corrupt and naive and all that stuff, and really, at least from what I heard, some really terrible people there. That's from what I heard. That's not my opinion. Um, so, um, but yeah, this guy's gonna be put on death row. He's gonna get killed for watching Squid Game. So let's just put it all in perspective. We have Omicron, which is going on right now. We have, of course, just COVID in general still going on. We're still in the midst of a pandemic. Um, we have protests happening all over the world for whatever reason that will happen. We have that. We have police brutality. We have all this stuff. That apparently is not the biggest issue in North Korea. The biggest issue in North Korea is a guy who watched a show. That is apparently the biggest issue at North Korea today, or at least in this past week. We have to kill this guy. Why? Did he smuggle in drugs? Did he bring in weaponry? Did he do this and that? No, he just brought in a show that we are not that happy with, and we're gonna kill him. You see what I'm getting at? It's like this to me was like the height. Like this to me is like the best example of why censorship needs a reevaluation, because I understand offensive material. I understand that people get offended by certain things, and they have their right to censor it if they feel offended. But I don't believe that that person should be punished if they do choose to bring that material into, if they choose to watch that material. They should be able to watch it. That's my thing. Like banning that material, I don't know. That just there's it's in their right. So I'm not gonna say it's like, oh, you can't do that because they can. But in terms of just like um, like I don't know. It's a really difficult thing to say. I mean, because personally speaking, I think censorship should only be mandated when it is actually offensive. Because if you look at the stuff that's been censored as of late, none of it is offensive material. None of it. And none of it is actually towards the projects themselves, if you look at it. Um, for Squid Game, I'm not sure what North Korea's case is. I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with the show. I'm pretty sure it has to do something with what a Netflix CEO said, or some statement somewhere triggered North Korea for them to not bring Squid Games into their place. Um, and then transitioning from that, let's talk about China, which is where all this censorship nonsense comes from. And I say nonsense because we're going to talk about not one but two projects from the same director that got censored for some really ridiculous things. And that is, of course, Nomadland and Eternals, both directed by Chloe Zhao. Um, Now, Nomadland was censored for um, for statements that Chloe Zhao made about China and like their conditions there and all that stuff. And she didn't have, like, from what I read, it was like the most polite statements. Like there was no shade being thrown. I mean, even if there was shade being thrown, it's in the vein of it's an opinion. It's not like she's attacking somebody or she's calling out somebody's name or anything like that. She's not going out of her way to, she's not doing anything. Um, how should I say it? Anything that's going to be taken um, as uh, like, like wrong or offensive. Like, it was a very, very clean statement. China apparently did not like it. They did not like the idea of, hey, you're talking ill about us. Yeah, so we're not going to show your movie in China. So, and keep in mind, Nomadland at that point had a clean streak. No issues, no allegations, no production issues. It was a very clean slate. It was having a really good festival run. It's getting a lot of this attention. It was going to probably sweep the Oscars, which it did. It's And then all of a sudden this controversy just gets put in the middle of it, about this whole China ban thing, and all that was for statements. It had nothing to do with the film. It had nothing to do with Frances McDormand. It had nothing to do with anything of the sort when it came to the story or the characters. it was just because the director said something about their country or their like that. That's what that's all that ban was, and that came in, and that was also the same thing with Eternals, um, and Eternals, from what I remember, was not shown in China, if I'm not mistaken. Let me do some research real quick just to be sure. Okay, so I just checked, and yes, so the film did not get released in China, and it was due to Chloe Zhao's comments, as we addressed, about China. And I think Shang-Chi met the same fate, which is really interesting considering that Shang-Chi is an Asian American led film. It's dominantly Asian American, and you would think that China would want that type of content on their grounds, but I guess not. So it's very very strange. It's very very strange in terms of the censorship going on in China, and very much so the censorship going on in North Korea. And what can we do about it? Well, nothing. We can't do anything because it is in their right to do so. And again, I think that censorship is necessary when it is necessary. Um, like if you look at the films that look at the projects that we just talked about here, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Nomadland, Squid Game. Do any of these material have anything remotely offensive in them? In terms of just projects, remove the statements and all that stuff. Look at the projects at hand. Is there anything offensive about Eternals? No. Is there anything offensive about Shang-Chi? No. Is there anything offensive about Squid Game? No. Is there anything offensive about Nomadland? No. Nothing is offensive about. There's nothing offensive about these movies, or any offensive material in the movies. It's all due to comments. That's what it amounts to. It amounts to comments, and that is where I believe that censorship needs a reevaluation. It shouldn't be based on the director or any behind the scenes drama. That should not be what bans films from certain things, from certain areas. Like this happens also with theatrical releases. Um, like the one of the names that that people don't like to talk about anymore is Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski obviously is a terrible person who's done some really really messed up things, stuff that we'll not get into here, but you guys know what I'm talking about, obviously. But The Pianist is my favorite film of the 2000s era. Like, like I don't censor my love for that film because I because the Roman Polanski did some really terrible stuff. Like should not dictate the product. That's what I mean. This should not dictate what happens to the project. You know, that's at least my personal viewpoint on it because like the whole Death on the Nile situation with Armie Hammer. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to release Death on the Nile. I always say, not always say, but my personal stance on censorship when it comes to just like release strategies, not just bans in foreign countries. I would say just release the film. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? You're not going to lose. I mean, you're forgive me for letting out a cuss word, but censor when it comes to stuff like that, like allegations, and they're in a film, you're releasing a film with somebody who has allegations surrounding them, or you're dealing with censorship in a foreign country. Unfortunately, you're in a no-win situation. You're in a situation where you're damned if you do it, and you're damned if you don't. You know, that's the unfortunate circumstance that you're in. I think that the foreign countries can be a lot more lenient. You can't control if allegations come out for somebody, but I think that the foreign countries, China, North Korea, these guys, I think that they could be a lot more lenient when it comes to what gets brought into their country, and also have common sense. I mean, if a director or somebody makes a statement about your country, it's called an opinion. So I think it would be advised to maybe not have your head in the sand and just take the criticism and then just move on. Like Chloe Zhao's comments do not change the landscape of China. You know what I'm saying? It's one person's opinion. Um, so I think it's personally stupid that censorship has gotten to this point where we now base it off of comments or base it off of a certain thing that happened with a certain person over here, and then that affects the release of the film. That to me is just ridiculous. Or affects the box office take of that film. Like Death on the Nail. Like I understand Army Hammer is supposedly the main lead of the film, but give it some time and then release the film. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, no one's talking about Army Hammer. I know that that'll probably come back up when the film gets released, but again, that's the unfortunate thing that you're gonna have to deal with. You either deal with it then or you deal with it now. That's just the unfortunate thing. Um, so, because the last thing you want to do is just not release the film or dump that film on streaming. You don't want to dump. You don't because there's money to be made with that. So, and there was money that could have been made with Eternals and Shang-Chi, but because a certain person said a certain thing or because allegations or something happened over here, then now this whole film is in jeopardy. Um, or in jeopardy in terms of like box office take and just like there's just a lot of things that affects the movie. I just don't like that. I don't like that censorship now can do that. It can make huge impacts on films. So I think that it needs a complete overhaul. I think that we need to reevaluate censorship entirely and get it back to what it was, which was material on screen. What's on the movie? What is being said in the movie? And um, you know, by that nature, like see if because obviously you're not going to put out like there's a film I was just watching just now. It's a great example. It's called White Tigers I Have Known. I saw like 15 minutes of it, and I'll be honest with you, I don't want to watch the rest of it. I understand that it's a well-made film, and I like the experimental approach that it takes, but I'm not in it to see kids, you know, little kids. I'm not talking about like adults, like kids. I'm not in it. I'm not into seeing a movie um, of about kids. How should I say it? As Don Rickles once said, humming. I'm not in it to see that, especially when there's a close-up shot of the kids. Like it's just and it's growing. It's just like I just don't like stuff like that. Like that's if you could stomach it, that's fine. But stuff like that, that's where I could kind of go, yeah, we should have a censorship somewhere for that. Um, I'm not saying you shouldn't release the film, I'm not saying that people shouldn't watch the film. I'm saying that we should have a censorship of some kind for films like that because there is something there that can be deemed offensive and can be deemed grotesque, you know, or very uncomfortable, as it clearly was for me. So, um, so those are films that I think need that. Eternals, Shang-Chi, Nomadland, Squid Game, these things don't need that. They don't need to be impacted. Um, and just in general for films, again with allegations that come out, that shouldn't affect the film. That's just me. I don't think it should affect the film, and unfortunately they do. But from a studio standpoint, I think like just release the film. You know what I'm saying? Don't um, don't just don't push it back like because they pushed Death on the Nile like a whole year, which was smart in one regard because that gave them a little bit of time to have this whole Army Hammer thing get out of the press and stuff. So that was kind of smart, but at the same time, you start to lose a lot of interest for that film, and a lot of people probably are not going to go see that movie because there's a bunch of films coming out in 2022 that people are going to be flocking to the theater to see more of than Death on the Nile. So you're probably going to lose money in the process. But I don't know. I think that there's a way to make this work. I think that there's a way to make this function more again. And I just think that we really need to reevaluate censorship. That's just me. But you guys let me know. What do you guys think about reevaluating censorship? Do you guys think it's necessary? Do you guys think I'm just not understanding it correctly? You guys let me know. And So that's really it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next video, it's going to be like a review of some kind, and that's really going to be it for me. So um, uh, yeah. So excuse me, I'm just a little bit tired, so sorry. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video, and like I said, that's it for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I think it's going to be a review. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time.